that it was side effects of a particular nausea drug that she had been on, because she had been having some extreme nausea. And so she came home tonight, no more of that nausea medication. And thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for your prayers. I really do appreciate that. Okay. A couple quick announcements. We are looking to launch DiGi Millionaires next week. So hopefully earlier next week is what we're hoping for. I've done my part. I'm just waiting for them to do the things that they need to do to make sure everything's integrated. Tier 2, which will be the auto trade systems, will be following up in a few weeks. Tiers 3 and 4 will be a little bit further down the road. Okay. Those of you that have been original beta testers with us, what I refer to as our DiGi Legacy members, if you have been testing the auto trade system with us, I need you to go into your beta testing back office. All right. As you go into your back office, and you're going to need to input new API keys. Now, those of you that were beta testing the auto trade with us, you've already done this. You've already put your API keys into the system. There was a video that you watched to do that, and you probably don't remember exactly how to do it. So go in your back office, go in under DiGi Vault, go in then under Copy DiGi Millionaires. The second video is the video that walks you through setting up your API key. So you're going to delete your existing API key, and then you're going to set up a new one. And again, you don't even have to be a techie. Just follow the instructions. They're pretty straightforward in the video. Okay. All right. So with that being said, let's go to the markets. I noticed for some reason on CoinMarketCap, the prices on CoinMarketCap, at least the Bitcoin prices, normally they are, this is an aggregate of a bunch of different price feeds that comes into CoinMarketCap, but they normally aren't off by much. They're off quite a bit. They're off by about $100 a Bitcoin. In Binance right now, Bitcoin is going for 65.25. And on CoinMarketCap, for some reason, it's going for 66.29. So maybe while we're on the webinar, hopefully, always when you're looking at prices, I'll look at CoinMarketCap a lot for more historical data. But in terms of actual prices to buy or sell an asset, you want to get that from the exchange that you are going to be trading with. All right, so let's do this first and foremost. Now, once we launch Tier 1, this series of webinars that we've been doing on Thursday nights, this is premium content. This would be Tier 1 content, Tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you have any of the tiers in time, you'll have access to the live webinars. Those who do not have DiGi Millionaires, all right, will not have access to these webinars. So we'll have a new webinar link. We did commit to you that we would run this webinar for at least 2 more weeks. Last week was supposed to be the last week, and we said we'd do at least 2 more weeks. So we'll do it at least 2 Thursday night, and then next Thursday, and then thereafter, assuming that Tier 1 has launched, this is only going to be available to those of you that are paid subscribers. And of course, my beta testers, we've had that discussion as to what that means for you. So if you are not going to be a part of Tier 1, then, really take note, because this week and next week will be available. Thereafter, you have to be Tier 1. Okay. All right. That will be premium content. Also, we have been recording these, and we've been sending those over to NetQube. Once we open up Tier 1, and this webinar is only for our Tier 1 subscribers, we will record the content, but we will only post it in the DiGi Millionaire back office. That will be premium content. That will not be content that you would be allowed to post on YouTube or anything like that, because that's premium content. Okay. All right. So now let's make sure that we all understand our primary strategy that is going to be in Tier 1, and then in Tier 2, we're going to auto trade this strategy. Okay. So this strategy is a trend trading strategy. We refer to it as our steel curtain strategy. It is defensive in nature. It's designed, it is specifically designed for a bear market. And we have been in a bear market. It started December 17th, 2017, when Bitcoin hit its height at just under $20,000. And since then, she's been coming down and coming down and coming down. And don't worry about that. We're going to do probably some training on this on next week. Since 2012, Bitcoin has had 13, count it, 13, what some people would call crashes. And what happens is when the market goes down, there's always this doomsday scenario. Bitcoin is going away and the whole space is going away, and Bitcoin is a bubble and Bitcoin is going to crash. Bitcoin has crashed 13 times, all right, meaning from its mountain peak to its valley low during that period, it went down at least 30% from its height 13 times. 5 of those times, Bitcoin went down 50% or more. In one case, in 2013, Bitcoin lost 87% of its value in just 3 days. Oh my gosh, the sky is falling. That Bitcoin is a scam. You never even touch the Bitcoin. What is it really worth? Well, what is the US dollar really worth? When they took the US dollar off of the gold standard, Nixon did that in 1970. Before then, there had to be a certain amount of gold for every $1 US that was printed. When they took the US dollar off the gold standard, it just simply became an IOU. What is your dollar worth? It's not worth anything. It's lost 90-some% of its value, which is why you have to make more and more and more of the stuff to buy what you used to be able to buy. It costs more to buy the same stuff because the dollar's not worth jack, okay? So Bitcoin has had 13 crashes of 30% or more, 5 crashes of 50% or more. And guess what? I got to say this, past performance will indicate future results. Every time she came back and she hit all-time highs. Now, we can't say that's going to happen. And I've got to say legally, past performance is no indicator of future results. But 13 times this has happened. 13 times previously, okay? All right, now, here we go. Here's the strategy real quickly. When the market's going down, we don't want to be in the market for this strategy. We're not going to panic sell. We're not going to be afraid. We're going to be very strategic, and we're going to get out of the market. We've got proprietary systems that will fire buy and sell signals. You're never going to see those systems. That's my secret sauce. Trend trading strategy. We want to be out of the market when the market is going down. Then when there is a sea change in the market and we need some confirmation, by the way, when you look at this, you're never going to have to read charts or be a day trader. Each one of these candles represents one trading day. At least when I'm teaching, I could make it mean a week or a month or 30 minutes. But when I'm teaching, these are always daily candles. The red one means the market was down. The blue one means the market was up. Real quickly, we get a sea change, we get into the market. All right. And I'm going to show you what that's going to look like when we send out our DiGi alerts. Our DiGi alerts are going to be those trades that we have made in our own family's account that you will be able to make in your account. Unlike the BitConnects and the USI Techs and the Gladiator coins of the world that said, trust me, send me your DiGi assets, and I promise you, we're trading, and we're going to pay you a certain amount each day or each week or each month or what have you. And then those systems stole hundreds of millions of dollars. That's not what we're doing here. It's going to be your account that you own, that you control. I'm going to share with you every trade that I make in my account. I've been trading since 1999 in some form or fashion. All right. In the stock market, 2003, in the Forex market, and now we are entrenched in this DiGi space. All right. We stay in the trade until we get a sell signal. So a lot of trading systems out there, let's say like a trading bot, a lot of those, you're going to get into the trade and it's looking to get 1%, 2%, 3% returns. I'm not here to fool you on any other system, okay? We're different. We want to stay in the market as long as the trend is going in our direction. In trading, there is a saying that the trend is your, excuse me, your friend. Excuse me, let me get a little water. Okay, so we want to stay in the market until we get a sell signal. We don't know when that's going to come, all right? Our system fires signals. They would come late in the evening, New York time. And so whenever we get a sell signal, we don't play around with those, even if it means that we take a loss. We're not going to play around with that, all right? So we sold right here at 10,200. Now, this trade was only for 10 days, 15.9%. Now, what most people would do, what most marketers would be saying is, hey, I'm averaging 1.59% a day. We don't know what it's going to be. Okay, we have no idea. All right, so we're not going to play that game. We're going to tell you what the return happened to be for what we refer to as a buy-sell cycle. A buy-sell cycle, okay? So we bought here, we sold here. Now we stay out of the market until such time as we get a new buy signal. So what happened here is the market got creamed. It actually went down for a while, went back up. We did not get a new buy signal, so we stayed on the sidelines. Market went up to 11,700 right here, and then she came crashing down. She went down from 11,700 to 64.18, and we missed all of that calamity. That's the whole point of this strategy, is to protect our DiGi value, defend our DiGi value. That's why we call it the steel curtain strategy, because I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and when we were winning all the Super Bowls, they called our defense the steel curtain. We want to defend our DiGi value. We get a new buy signal, we get in, we stay in until we get a new sell signal. All right, and in that case, that sell signal came in 18 days, 12.7% return in 18 days. We get excited about the returns, yes, but this strategy really is meant to help safeguard any catastrophic losses. 3 rules of trading. Number 1, do not lose money. Number 2, doggone it, you work way too hard. Stan, you work hard for that money. Vicky, you worked hard for that money. You better not lose money. And that certainly isn't to suggest that we're not going to take losses. We will, I promise you that. But they're not going to be, when we take losses, compared to the rest of the market, our losses will be much smaller. We recently, on the buy-sell cycle, took a loss. With all of our assets combined, we took a loss. We had a previous buy-sell cycle. We were up 30% net. The next buy-sell cycle, we were down 6%. We were down 6%, and we showed that on a webinar. Okay, we're going to be accountable. We're going to be transparent. But the rest of the market was down like 30%. So there are going to be times when we take a loss in a trade, but it won't be nearly as much typically as what the market went down. Okay, and then we're going to get the lion's share of the up move. So don't worry about, hey, if I'm out of the market, I'm going to miss the big move, because we will get most of the move. We're never going to get in right at the bottom. We're never going to get out right at the top, but we will get the lion's share of the move. Okay, we will get the lion's share of the move. All right, that's our steel curtain strategy. Okay, now we're going to give these DiGi alerts on 8 primary assets, actually 12 primary assets in the auto trade system as of now. Once that's integrated inside of NetQube, we will trade those in the auto trade system against 8 different assets. Now, here's what happens. So we have these assets, and when we get out of the market, we're going to be sitting over in something called a stable coin. A stable coin is pegged to the US dollar. So the way trading works in this space is you have a base asset, and you now take that base asset and you exchange it for the asset you're trading for. So for instance, let's say we were trading, so you can see this, let's say that we were trading Bitcoin, okay? And right here you see where it says ADA/BTC. All right, well, what that means is If you had Bitcoin and you wanted to trade for this asset ADA, that's the name of that asset is called Cardano, but the trading symbol is ADA. You would be taking your Bitcoin, exchanging it for ADA, Cardano, looking for some type of return. And once you close that transaction, once you get out of the ADA, you revert back to Bitcoin. Okay? So if you are exchanging your Bitcoin for ADA in a trade, you're in ADA. Once you're out of that trade, profit or loss, you now revert back to Bitcoin. You could have Ethereum as your base asset. You own Ethereum, you trade Ethereum for ADA, as an example. Once you complete that trade, you get out of that trade, win or loss, your asset reverts back to Ethereum. Now, in 2017, that was a great way to trade. Exchange an appreciating asset, Bitcoin, for ADA. Bitcoin was going up, ADA was going up. Exchange an appreciating asset, Ethereum, for another appreciating asset. Give me a moment. Bear with me. Dan was texting me. That worked well in a bull market. You exchange an appreciating asset, Bitcoin, for something else. You exchange an appreciating asset, Ethereum, for another asset. And once that trade is completed, you go back to the base asset, Bitcoin, or you go back to the base asset, Ethereum. That worked gloriously well in a bull market when the market's going up. But that will have your head handed to you in a bear market. Why? Because you could make the trade on Bitcoin. You could have Bitcoin. You could trade it for ADA. You could get your profit that you're looking for. This is what has happened with trading robots this year. They got their profit, but then you went back to Bitcoin. Well, the problem is Bitcoin has been as high this year as, what was it, 14, 15,000? Maybe, no, 17,000 the first part of January. But now she's going for 6,500. So that strategy is not the strategy that we want to have in tier 1 or in tier 2. What we want to do is we want to take a stable coin asset that's pegged to the US dollar, exchange that for Bitcoin, exchange that for Ethereum, exchange that for Litecoin when we get a buy signal. And then when we close out the transaction, let's go back to a stable coin like USDT. And now there is also True USD, all right, that also is pegged to the US dollar. And let's have our funds sitting over in a cash equivalent that's not susceptible now to the ups and the downs of the market. Okay? So that's what we're doing. All right, now, with that being said, here are the assets that we're trading, and we're going to go into the assets we've traded this week. Take a look at those. All right, so we're going to be trading Bitcoin. We're going to be trading Ethereum. We're going to be trading Litecoin. We're going to be trading Bitcoin Cash. By the way, in parentheses is the trading symbol that you will find in the various exchanges. And we're going to be trading Ripple. By the way, you'll never have to learn how to read charts, 1. You'll never have to be a day trader, number 2. You can just follow our lead, and I'm going to show you what a DiGi alert looks like since we just sent out DiGi alerts the other night when we started to get into these trades, okay? We're going to trade EOS, NEO, and MIOTA. All right, those are going to be the 8 assets that we will trade in the auto trade system once tier 2 launches against USDT. So we'll have USDT, we'll trade it for the Bitcoin, for Litecoin, for EOS, for NEO, for MIOTA. Then when we close out the transaction, profit or loss, we go back to USDT. Now we will likely take a portion of that USDT that's sitting in the sidelines and diversify, also go into true USD. All right, both of those pegged to the dollar will not be susceptible to the ups and the downs and the ups of the market. Okay, particularly in this market environment that has been a bear market. We don't know how long this bear market will last. And one thing we do know is that things can turn on a dime, which is why when we get a buy signal, we want to get into the market. We don't know if that's going to be the start of a new bull market. We know 13 times before there have been these Bitcoin crashes. Oh, the sky is falling, only for Bitcoin to eventually get back to where it was and then reach new highs. So her high was right at 20,000. To go from 6,500 to 20,000 is about 3.5 times, about 350%. So we definitely want to be in the market. So we're only getting out of the market to sidestep a potential calamity, but we got our eye on the market. We didn't just get out, walked away, and said this DiGi stuff doesn't work. Okay. We're also going to do signals on some other assets. Dash, Zcash, Monero, and OmiseGo. So that will give us a dozen assets. Now, the difference between these last four is that they do not trade in Binance. Binance is the exchange that we'll be using for the auto trade system. They do not trade against USDT in Binance. Now, if digital cash, if Dash, if they add Dash to USDT, we will trade it in the auto trade system. If they add Monero, we will trade it in the auto trade system. Okay. Right now, they don't trade against USDT in Binance. However, the system that we use to generate buy and sell signals has Dash, Zcash, Monero, OmiseGo programmed in there. So we get buy and sell signals on those assets. So we will make trades on those as well. And we will call those trades as well. Okay. Now, lastly, there's going to be some other assets that we will trade that Binance has. For instance, I'm going to go in Binance under USDT. And so ADA, all right, ADA is Cardano. Cardano is one of the top assets in all of the DiGi space. Cardano is number 8 in what is called market cap. Market cap is this. You take the circulating supply, how many coins or how many tokens of this asset. So Bitcoin, there are 17 million of these in the marketplace. You take the circulating supply. I'm at coinmarketcap.com, by the way, coinmarketcap.com. You multiply that times the price, and this then gives you the market cap. So when you go to coinmarketcap.com, you're going to see the top assets listed by market cap. Obviously, Bitcoin is the grand poobah. Ethereum is number 2. Ripple is number 3. Now, consider the 8 assets that we said we trade in the auto trade system. They were Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Litecoin. The top 6 assets that we trade, all right, or 6 of the 8 assets are the top 6 in the entire space. So we're trading the biggest of the big. These are the ones we believe are going to be here long term. Bitcoin's been around since 2010. Ethereum's been around a few years. Ripple's been around a few years. Bitcoin Cash, fairly new. All right, there was something called a fork. Don't have time to talk about what a fork is. That happened last year in August or so of last year. But you can see she's number 4. EOS, fairly new. I remember when EOS, I remember when she was 63 cents. All right, last year. Now she's at 8.86. Litecoin's been around for a while. Okay. So we are going to make some trades that are not primary asset trades, and we'll call some of those as well. We just won't have as big of an interest in those, meaning we won't commit as much capital to those. We're having to do some other charting on that. Our systems don't spit out buy and sell signals because those are not programmed in. Okay, so if we do make a trade on Cardano like we did the other day, it's going to be a much smaller trade than the rest of our assets that we trade. Okay, all right. Now, with that being said, let me show you what a DiGi alert looks like. Oh, let me back up. All right, so open up your questions box. Let's make this a little interactive here. Can someone tell me? All right, and you can either write in the name of these two assets. So there's going to be two assets, or write in the name, or write in the trading symbol. Can someone tell me the two assets that I refer to as the catalyst assets? The catalyst assets. Put that in your questions box if you know what those two assets are. All right. You guys and guyettes are smart. I haven't seen a wrong answer yet. I think somebody just misspelled something. Yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum. You'll hear me refer to them as the catalyst assets, and the reason being is that they lift all boats. When they go up, the rest of the market, now obviously I'm painting with a broad brush, but the majority of the market goes up with them. When they go down, the majority of the market goes down with them. Now, here's something for you to consider, okay? When Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up, they will tend to lift all boats. The altcoins, alternative to, alternate of Bitcoin, anything that's not Bitcoin, referred to as altcoins, typically. When Bitcoin is going up, altcoins will tend to outperform Bitcoin. Give me a moment. So last year, what happened to Bitcoin? Bitcoin went up, right? 1,268% January 1 to December 31, 2017. But look at the altcoins. Ethereum far outperformed Bitcoin. Ripple far outperformed Bitcoin. Altcoin. Litecoin far outperformed Bitcoin. Monero almost doubled Bitcoin. Ethereum Classic 17. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You know, 1,772%. 700% is almost a disappointment. So very few of these assets underperform Bitcoin. By the way, what we did is we went to coinmarketcap.com and we looked at what the top 20 assets were on January 1, 2017. That's where we got these assets from. This is what their rankings were based on their market cap, January 1, 2017. So you can see of the top 20 assets from January 1, 2017 till December 31st, 2017. Let's see, here's one asset that underperformed. The point I'm making is that when Bitcoin goes up, the altcoins tend to outperform Bitcoin. Here's a second one that underperformed. It was still 7 times your money. Zcash underperformed 3. And eDinar, they probably went away. They underperformed. So 4 of the 20 assets, altcoins, underperformed. 4 of the 19 additional assets underperformed. 15 of these other assets outperform Bitcoin. Okay, so keep this in mind. Bitcoin's going up. She tends to bring the rest of the market with her. The altcoins love to follow Ethereum. She goes up, they go up. Now, when Bitcoin goes down, and I don't mean over a day or two. I mean, you know, over a period of time. These altcoins will tend to go down harder. And one of the reasons is Bitcoin is the grandpa of this space. It's the one that if everything else failed, Bitcoin is likely still going to be here. And so what often happens when the market is getting hammered is that people will move out of their altcoins and move back to Bitcoin. So even though Bitcoin may go down, it won't tend to go down as much as the other altcoins. Okay. And typically, you got to go through Bitcoin to get to cash, meaning most people, if they're trading in the Digi space, they're using Bitcoin as their base asset. They exchange it for whatever asset they're trading. All right. So they're using Bitcoin. They exchange it for ADA. Market's going down. Person wants to get out of ADA. They sell ADA. They go back to Bitcoin. And in many cases, people will just hold on to their Bitcoin and wait for the market to reverse. Okay. They feel more comfortable being in Bitcoin than they do, let's say, ADA. So keep that in mind. Market goes up, altcoins will tend to outperform Bitcoin. Market goes down, altcoins will tend to get beaten up even harder than Bitcoin. Okay. Now, with that being said, let me show you what a DiGi alert looks like. So here's what we like to see when we get into a buy-sell cycle. We like to see Bitcoin and or Ethereum leading the way. And we like to see one of those issuing a buy signal, and in just a couple days later, 2, maybe 3 days later, the other one issuing a buy signal. Because if they both are in buys, more likely than not, they will go up and they will bring the rest of the market with them. Now, we have been in a bear market. This market has been extremely difficult. It's been tough to get any traction on the upside, and we keep hitting our head up against something called resistance. So we got a buy signal over the weekend. I don't remember if it was Friday night or Saturday night on Bitcoin, but and Bitcoin was going for just under 6,300 at the time. It was in the 6,200s. But I knew in looking at the charting that there was some resistance at about 6,400. So we did not get into the market right away. We did not get into the market right away because this has been a very tough market to navigate. We've had a couple of transactions with Bitcoin where we got a buy signal, we got into the market, and then it hit resistance and fell back, and we got a sell signal. So we wanted to wait a couple days for more confirmation, and we wanted to see her get through some resistance, which was in the 6,400 and some change area. Well, as this market can do, and I forget what day it was. I think it was Monday. Let's see. Give me just a moment. I'm going into our beta test site. I'm going to show you what DiGi alerts look like. Now, your alerts may look a little different because we're going to have a totally different back office once things launch next week. Preferably they launch next week. But I'm going to show you what a DiGi alert looks like. It's very comprehensive. We do these alerts always thinking of the newbie in mind. Okay, so some of you, you're going to get this and you're going to be able to just look at a picture of our model account and you'll know what we did. But we're not going to assume that's going to be everybody, because we're going to always have new people that are brand new to this space, brand new to trading, a little intimidated because we're dealing with numbers. And then when you're dealing with Bitcoin, all right, if you were dealing with Bitcoin and you were, let's say you were trading Bitcoin against ADA, and here is the price of ADA relative to Bitcoin. Well, what the heck does this mean? What does 0.00002217 mean? Boy, and if you're intimidated by arithmetic, that's enough to scare the bejeebies out of you, right? So we've got to make sure that we talk in plain English. Let me tell you this. In the financial world, and I know this because when I started trading in the stock market, I started teaching some stock market classes in my local area. At the time, I lived in Greensboro, North Carolina, for my North Carolinians out there. And then ultimately, I went around the country with an outfit out of Arizona called Trade Secrets. And they sold the $5,000, $10,000 stock market workshops. And what I found is that, you know, I would see them teach and train, and most people didn't get it. And then they would say, okay, all right, now this is just the beginning of your education. If you didn't quite get it, you can come back for a refresher course. And let's say that the course was $5,000 for the weekend, you know, shindig. It was $10,000, but if you act today, it's $49.95. You know, and you can bring your spouse or your business partner with you for just another $2,000, so $69.95, $6,995 for a weekend. And then they would you knew they were making money, but you didn't quite get it, and they did all the technical jargon and terminology, and then they would say, hey, you can come back for a refresher course for just $19.95. Well, see, and after a while, I couldn't handle that because I saw what was going on. They weren't really teaching people so that people could actually do it. They were just selling the high-priced workshops, and they weren't teaching them to where they said, oh, I got it. That makes sense. Well, I want you to get it. I want you to understand it as you undertake it. You never have to learn all this chart reading stuff, but I want you to understand when we do an alert, what it means and why, and so that you have a comfort level in placing that trade. All right, so here we go. Here we go. All of our assets have produced buy signals. Here's a look at the model account. All right, real quick. What's the model account? You're going to hear me say two things. You're going to hear me say master account, and you're going to hear me say model account. The master account is the account where we place a trade for the auto trade system. We place that trade in a real live account. All right. Tier 2 is where that is going to come into fruition. We will place a trade in my family's account. This is the real trade. Okay. So I'm trading right along with you. And for those of you, once tier 2 is available, once you have the auto trade, we'll show you how to hook it up to the master account. We won't see your account value or anything like that, okay? It will be your own account. You'll have your own Binance account. But when a trade is placed in the master account, in milliseconds, that trade is transacted in your account. So we have a master. We're never going to show the master in training. We will show the model account. What's the model account? Well, we set up a model account that is set up just like your account is going to be set up. We funded that too with real money, okay? And that's what we will show on screen. That's what we'll show in our trainings, okay? This way, even if you do not have tier 2, but you're coming to the webinars or at least watching the recordings, you're wanting tier 2, maybe you've been bitten by the scam bug and you just want to make sure this stuff is legit and what have you, you get a chance to follow along. No pressure. When you're ready for tier 2, it'll be there once tier 2 is available. All right. So what you will see anytime I show screenshots, I'm going to be showing screenshots of the model account. This is the same type of account that you would have. All right. All right, so here's the alert. All of our assets have produced buy signals. Here is a look at our model account with all of the executed buy orders. For those of you that are a little more advanced, this may be all that you need. So we've had some beta testers with us for a while, and many of them know how to place their own orders and what have you. For those of you that are still learning, we'll include a detailed write-up below the screenshots. There's going to be a section of training once you come inside of tier 1 that's going to walk you through how do you place a trade in Binance? How do you place a buy order? How do you place a sell order? Before you even get there, how do I even buy Bitcoin? Now that I have Bitcoin, how do I send that over to the exchange? Now that it's sitting over in the exchange, how do I execute a buy order? How do I execute a sell order? So really all you'll have to do with tier 1, if you want to trade alongside us, is read the alert and follow the alert. Okay. All right. So these are the buys from Monday, July the 2nd. And so we traded Stellar Lumens. XLM is Stellar Lumens. This is not a primary asset, so we put a lot less into that trade. Bitcoin is a primary asset. Bitcoin Cash, primary asset. Ethereum Classic. In time, you'll know what all this stuff means because we're not trading 75 assets. We're basically trading, you know, a dozen or so, 8 of them in the auto trade system. Okay. Ontology, ONT against USDT, IOTA against USDT. And if you go and you look on CoinMarketCap, you're going to see that all of those I just mentioned are in the top 30. XLM, Stellar is number 7. BTC is 1. Bitcoin is number 1. Bitcoin Cash is number 4. Ethereum Classic is number 15. Ontology is ONT. Where are you? Ontology. 23. So all of these, I think, in the top 25 that we're trading. And IOTA is in the top 10. Okay. So we're trading large assets based on their market cap. All right. So we show you. All right. And so in our model account, these are our primary assets. We were putting about $900 into each trade. All right. So you'll see that with our primary assets, we've got about the same amount invested into each trade. And then our secondary assets, we put in a much smaller amount. We won't have time tonight to talk about money management, but when you come into the system on next week, we got a whole video just on money management so you'll understand why these numbers, okay? All right, and then here's a screenshot from July the 3rd. All right, Ripple, XRP, Neo, Litecoin, Ethereum, EOS. This is what we like to see. Bitcoin gives us a buy signal. Not long after that, a couple days, 3 days after that, Ethereum gives us a buy signal. We waited on the Bitcoin buy signal because we saw in our charting that there was a point of resistance at about the 6,400, 6,420 or so mark. She was at 63, 62.90, I believe it was, when we got the buy signal. Well, let's just go on and buy. Well, yeah, but this is a tricky market. All right. And so we're going to err on the side of being cautious. We wanted to see her go through the 6,400 level first. The only thing is with Bitcoin and with these assets, sometimes when they break a level, like she broke 6,400 and like in 15 minutes, she was at 6,600. I mean, it was like, I walked away from the computer. I come back and I'm like, my gosh, darn. Okay. But we wanted to wait until she gave us some more confirmation because this has been a tricky market to trade. All right. So once again, and we'll scroll over. Okay. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that if it is a robot system, I've probably tested it. All right. There's one I have not tested yet, but if it's a Bitcoin trading system, I probably have it or have had it or tested it. There is nobody out there showing a model account. Nobody. I've got a $2,500 a year subscription with one service. I've got a $2,000 a year subscription with another service. I got all told about $1,500 a month worth of subscriptions, 18 grand a year to various trading something. All right. And most of that in this crypto space. Nobody. I know of one system, man, they send out a ton of signals. They're not taking all those trades. They've got an algorithm that shoots out signals. In tier 1, in tier 2, you will never get a DiGi alert from us where we did not put that trade on in our own account. Never. Never. We put our money where our mouth is. Okay? If we win, we win together. If we lose together. And then if we win or lose, we're going to be right back here every Thursday night. And if for some reason we can't do a live webinar for whatever reason, then we'll record something for you for the week. But we're going to be here because we're going to be that place that you can come, that you can trust. We've got to earn your trust. Most of you have never met me. Hopefully, I'll meet many of you down at the Big Shindig in Destin, Florida, in a few weeks. But we got to fight to earn your trust. But I got to fight just as hard to keep it. A lot of scams out there. Okay, so we tell you all that. All right, so now let's walk through this real quickly. All right, so you'll understand this. So what we did is we went from top to bottom. We went from the first trade all the way down. And just so you know, I mean, we spent a lot of time with this, looking, going back sometimes, looking at some past trades that we've done and what have you. It probably took me all told about 3 hours to complete this one DiGi alert. But that's what we're committed to, so that you understand it as you undertake it. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we'll go through each asset, beginning from top to bottom, with the first screenshot. XLM USDT. This is Stellar Lumen. So in time, you're going to, because we're going to trade the same assets. So you're going to get to know what the trading symbols are. XLM is not one of our primary assets that we trade. All right. Now, let me tell you. So we consider it a primary asset if our signal system provides buy and sell signals for it. If our signal system, which is based on a Forex platform, so if the Forex platform that we use for the signal system, if it does not have that asset in the Forex platform, then we don't get a buy or sell signal. We still can do some charting outside of the Forex, but because we're not going to get a buy or sell signal, then we're going to commit a much smaller amount of our asset base into that particular trade. We love XLM for our longer term portfolio. Our system is, I should have said not yet. I meant to say not yet program for this asset. Therefore, when we enter a secondary asset, we will enter it with a much smaller, should have said that, much smaller allotment than our primary assets. Our position in XLM represents roughly 2% of our overall account value. So now what we will do is we will let you know that when we made this trade, what percentage of our account did we use for this trade? And we can't advise you, but what I would say is don't go over the percentage we use for the trade. If we use 2%, don't use 5% of your account for the trade. If we use 10% for a trade, as we will in many cases with a primary asset, don't go do 20. Okay. We tell you what we bought it for. And since we're trading against USDT, it's easier for you because USDT is pegged to the US dollar. If we were trading right now against Bitcoin, all right, this would be the price of ADA versus Bitcoin. But what the heck does that mean? If we were trading against USDT, this is the price trading against USDT. Oh, that's 14 cents, 14.5 cents. Oh, Bitcoin Cash, that's $732. Got it. Oh, Bitcoin is $6,540. Got it. Okay. All right. Then, all right, so now real quickly, how would you figure that out? If you had a $1,000 account, you would say, okay, if I want to make that trade, I don't want to put more than 2% times 2%, $20. Now, I want you to think this through. In this example, $1,000 account, you're doing a max of $20. What's your exposure? Is it your full $1,000 account in that one trade? No, it's what? $20. But we're not going to sit back and let that go down to zero. If the market goes against us, even though on ADA, for instance, or XLM, even though we don't get buy and sell signals, I'm constantly watching that as I'm watching the rest of the market. And I know this. What do we know? What do we know? What do we know? We know that if Bitcoin and Ethereum give us sell signals, what's happening with the rest of the altcoins? they're about to go down to. We might want to get the heck out of Dodge. Win, lose, or draw. Okay. Now, we'll let you know the exchanges that we trade on where you can trade this particular asset. So you can trade XLM USDT in Binance. You can trade it in Bittrex. One thing I neglected to put is that this is called something else in Poloniex. It's called STR in Poloniex. STR trading against USDT in Poloniex. Okay. Now, here's one thing I'm going to strongly recommend. For those of you, once the tier 2 is available and the auto trade is available, I'm going to strongly recommend that you don't do any self-directed trades. You don't do any manual trades in the auto trade account. Only commit to the auto trade account what you want traded in the auto trade account. Don't do any trades in that account. Do your manual trades, your self-directed trades, whether they're coming from our system in DiGi Alerts, or maybe you're trading on your own, or maybe you've got some other system that shoots out trade signals, what have you. Do those in a non-auto trade account. Because if you are doing manual trades in your auto trade account, all right, and let's say that we're in Bitcoin and you buy some Bitcoin and then you sell some Bitcoin, the auto trade system is going to assume that you wanted to take ownership of that trade, and it will not auto execute a sell order. Let me say it again. So you're in the auto trade system. We've done a trade that's been executed in your account where you now own some Bitcoin, or you own some Ethereum, or you own some whatever the asset happens to be. And let's say you go in and you decided to buy some Bitcoin or to buy some Ethereum, and then to maybe sell some of the Ethereum that you have. Okay, you can do that. It's your account. The problem is the system, the auto trade system, is not going to know if you now intend to take over that asset, that trade. And so it's not going to auto execute anymore for that asset. So when we place a trade to get out of Bitcoin, if you've been trading in that account, if you've been trading Bitcoin in that account, guess what? It's not going to auto execute to get you out of Bitcoin, because it doesn't know, the system doesn't know if you intended to take control of your Bitcoin and buy and sell or buy and sell. So only set up the auto trade for auto trading. Any of your self-directed trading, do in another account. With Binance, you can have multiple Binance accounts. With Bittrex, you can only have one account in your name. With Poloniex, you can only have one account in your name. But Binance, you can have multiple accounts. Okay? Then we're going to give you an action to consider. All right? We can't technically advise you. So we say, hey, consider this. Buy XLM USDT in your non-auto trade account with a buy price up to, this is important, up to 22.6 cents. 0.226 is 22.6 cents. Okay. Now, why is this important? Because by the time you get a DiGi alert, the price has likely moved. It's either moved up or it's moved down. Now, if it is moved down and you can get it for less than what we paid for it, we're still in it. You're going to know when we're not in it. We're going to issue another alert saying we're out with some screenshots and what have you. Okay. But as long as we're still in, if you can get that price or better, 21.5 cents, and you feel comfortable doing the trade, do the trade. However, if the market goes in our direction, we got in at 21.5 cents. And by the time you see the alert, let's say she's going for 23 cents. Well, we said, hey, don't pay more than 0.226. All right, let's see. This is XLM. All right, market's down a little bit since we got in. All right, so she's at 0.20041. We said, okay, We got in at 0.215. She's at XLM, 0.20041, so 20 cents. She's at a better price now than she was when we got in. If you knew what you were doing, I would not suggest, if you're not going to be tier one with us, I would not suggest you do this trade because you won't know when we get out, if we get out after next Thursday, okay? But the reason we put so much detail in the alert, let's say we're still in the market. Tier one starts next week, and then we'll do the webinar next Thursday for everybody, and then the Thursday after that will only be for tier one. So let's say that you're tier one, and we're still in the market 2 weeks from now, and you've got your account up, and you're excited about trading and what have you, and you go through here and you say, well, let me see what and we'll make sure that we copy this over into the new system. All right. Let me see if there are any assets that I could do on my own if the price is still right. Well, you'll know. So you don't have to be sitting in front of the computer all day long. Alert comes, you weren't there, you were asleep, you were at work or what have you. Don't worry about it. And if the price has passed you, don't sweat it. I promise you there'll be plenty of opportunities. We're not going to chase it. So you never want to pay more than. So we'll say a buy up to price. This is the most you want to pay. Commit no more than 2% of your overall account value in this trade. Excuse me. Stay in the trade until we provide further instructions. Okay. Bitcoin, BTC, USDT. This is Bitcoin. We actually got a buy signal over the weekend. However, given that volume is typically lower on the weekend and BTC was nearing a key resistance point, we wanted to wait for further confirmation and wanted her to clear resistance. Resistance is a place in the market. Give me a moment. No, I don't have time to do that. A place on the charts where there is congestion, where the market has been before and has had a problem penetrating, going higher. Support is a floor where the market tends to come down to, bounces off of that and goes up. The marketplace is a function of supply and demand. So when the market comes down and now you have more buyers coming in to buy that asset because they like that price, they believe that maybe we're at a bottom, and there's more buyers than sellers, prices go up. Economics 101, supply and demand. When the price gets to a certain point where there are now buyers start to dry up, not as much excitement about buying at this price. Sellers, there are more sellers than there are buyers, market then goes down. We call that place where more sellers than buyers, especially if the market has been there before and has had problems penetrating that, we call that resistance. So we got a buy signal, yes, but she was at a point of resistance. We wanted to see her break through resistance before we got into the market. Well, she did, and she actually blew through resistance. We would have liked to have gotten a better price. However, we were still able to buy her at a lower price than our last buy. So we told you, our last time we bought Bitcoin was on June the 19th. Back then, we bought her for $67.10.90. Our buy price in the model account was $66.24.32. Because she's a primary asset, we use roughly 10% of our overall account value in this trade. Now, if you were trading with a robot, you typically wouldn't use 10% of your account into any one trade, because typically with a robot, you're doing a lot of micro trades, a lot of small trades. We're not trading a lot here. This isn't about trading a bunch of assets. This is about quality of trades, not quantity of trades. We are typically only going to be in maybe a dozen assets at any given time. And they're going to be a dozen of the top assets in the space. for this strategy. Now, there'll be other strategies, all right? Even before we get to tier 3 and tier 4, we have not talked to you about our portfolio building strategy, namely because the marketplace is not conducive to that particular strategy right now. When it is conducive, in tier 1, we'll talk about our portfolio building strategy, and we'll include that in our DiGi alert system, okay? But the market's not conducive for that trading style, so we haven't talked about it, okay? So you think about it, most people that have DiGi assets, you know, are either 100% in Bitcoin, or maybe they got 50-50, some Bitcoin and some Ethereum, or what have you. All right, so 10% is not a lot, particularly if it's a major asset, which Bitcoin obviously is. All right, we go on to talk a little bit about our money management. And again, there'll be a video. I cut it today, as a matter of fact, and it will be in the back office next week when everything launches, about what our money management is in our auto trade account. But you can now take that same money management and apply it to self-directed trading, okay? And so we give you the actions to consider. Buy up to price of 6,800, commit no more than 10% of your overall account value, stay in the trade until further instructions. Bitcoin Cash, same thing. So we give you a little background. In a recent buy and sell cycle, we bought Bitcoin Cash at 709. She went up to the 1600s before giving us a sell signal at 1413. That was a 99.29% return in just over 30 days. Not in the entire account, in the portion of the Bitcoin Cash. All right, so we didn't put all of our assets in Bitcoin Cash, okay? That particular buy sell cycle, with all the assets that we traded, we netted about 30% for about the longest trade we were in was 35 days. We've got to approach this differently. Somebody got in touch with me the other day. They said, well, hey, how much am I going to make on a daily basis? And I wanted to say, hey, this isn't BitConnect. This isn't USI Tech. This isn't Gladiator Coin. We don't judge things on a daily basis. We'll take a look at a completed buy and sell cycle. Well, what's a completed buy and sell cycle? Right now, we're in all of our assets, all of our primary assets, okay? That's the buy part. At some point, we're going to get sell signals. Once we're out of the last of the assets, that will conclude this buy and sell cycle, okay? So we had a buy and sell cycle, the one that comes to mind just because I know the dates, that started on April 1 with our first asset. It ended on May the 10th, selling the last of our primary assets. So that lasted a little more than a month, okay? And so at the end of that overall cycle, net, we were up over 30%. We were up 99% on the Bitcoin Cash part of our trade. We were up 50% on the Ethereum part of our trade. We were up 12.7% on the Bitcoin part of our trade. We were down 5% on the Neo part of our trade, okay? All right, so we give you a little commentary since then. So we sold her at 1413 back then. Since then, we've seen her go under 700 before making a great recovery as BTC has been going up. This asset can move quick. Bitcoin Cash is very volatile, okay? She can move very quick. We bought her back at 782.77. Our most recent buy was at 870. So we're giving you a little background. We're telling you, again, buy up to. So I want to make sure you understood what buy up to means. That means even if it's going for more than what we got it for, pay no more than this amount. Commit no more than 10%. Stay in the trade till we give you further instructions. And we continue. So all the assets, we went through that with all of the assets. 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 Now, I'm going to tell you, even on weekends, all right, there was this was a few weekends ago. My son, my oldest son is 22. He said, "Hey, Pop, hey, I want to hang out with you tonight. Let's go watch him. Let's go grab a movie." Now, you know, he's 22. How many more opportunities am I going to get to hang out with my son on a weekend, on a Saturday night, instead of him going out on a date or what have, instead of him wanting to hang out with his buddies, he wants to hang out with his pop. Sure, all right. He told me what we were gonna go watch. We were gonna catch the late movie. The thing is, with these signals come in late, and guess what happened? Got a signal, and I think it was a cell signal. I'm pretty sure it was a cell signal. So we had to get out of the market. We don't play with the cell signals. We're going to be more subjective when it comes to the buy signals. Like, okay, I get the buy signal, but let's take a look at what's happening with the markets. And, you know, we may wait for a day or two for confirmation, like we talked about with Bitcoin. When we get a sell signal, and we still might wait a day for confirmation if there's other things that we're seeing in the overall market. But by and large, we get a sell signal, we're getting the heck out of Dodge. And the markets were ugly. We got a sell signal. We had to get out of several trades. Now, we've got some of our beta testers are using the auto trade system. And it would have been great if, man, just placed a trade, it's in the auto trade system, that's it. But guess what? Not everybody's going to be in the auto trade system. And so what I committed to them, same thing I'll commit to you, is that when we place a trade in the auto trade system, we are going to issue a DiGi alert on that particular trade for my self-directed traders. Now, the advantage of being in the auto trade is that if you're not around, doesn't matter, it goes into your account. And the big thing, here's the big thing, it takes the emotion out. Because when we have to get out of a trade, particularly at a loss, that's not easy. That's not easy. It took me years of trading to finally accept that sometimes it's just better to take a loss. All right. A football analogy for my cheesehead. Hey, listen, man, you know, you had Brett Favre. He was always trying to make a play. Sometimes you just take the sack. Sometimes just punt and live to play another play. Okay. Guess what? I couldn't go that night. You think I want to send out an alert and do 2-3 hours worth of work because we got out of a bunch of trades, or I had a bunch to write up. And it was on a weekend, and it could be that you wouldn't have even seen that until the next day. But you know what? I got to do what I said I was going to do. Because what did I tell you? I got to earn your trust, and I got to work just as hard to keep it. And I understand that, especially with what happened last year with the Big Connects and the U.S. high techs and all the crappy systems out there. Okay. All right. So this is what a DiGi alert looks like. Detailed. You should know exactly what to do because we'll have videos that show you how to take a trade in Binance, how to take a trade in Bittrex because Bittrex is different than Binance, how to take a trade in Poloniex because Poloniex system is different from Bittrex, different from Binance, and we can't do a training on every exchange out there, but the primary exchanges. And those three, if you have those three exchanges or a couple of those exchanges, you should do just fine. Okay. All right. So real quickly, you know what? No, I'm at my 75 minutes. Queen, you proud of me? I'm stopping. You proud of me, Queen? I'm stopping. How about let's go and do 15 minutes of Q&A. Any questions you have, go on and put those in your questions box. And Queen will unmute herself and she will ask your questions and we will do our best to answer them. If you put questions in before, go on and put those in. I don't see I don't see. That can't be right. All right, any questions? Put them in your questions box. I'm not seeing any questions. I can't. Okay. Yeah, we can see your questions if you put them in the questions box. Now, if you put questions in earlier, you need to, Stephen, you need to put in that question again. Your page cannot be displayed. Let me see what you're talking about. Screen essay. Hey, Queen, where are you? Maybe she's
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, okay. Screen essay. Let me check on that for you. Questions starting to come through now.
Yes, this is the right box, Stephen.
Oh, okay. Screen essay. Do me a favor. Do what happened there?
When I add Bitcoin to my account, will it affect the trading?
If you add Bitcoin, no, it's not going to affect the trading. All right. So here's the question. Let's say someone is doing, they're part of the auto trade system and they add a new asset. They send in some more Bitcoin. They send in some more Ethereum. Is that going to affect what happens with the auto trade account? The answer to that is no. However, if you add that new Bitcoin and then you go and you sell that Bitcoin and we're in a Bitcoin trade, then the system's not going to know if you are intending now to take control of that Bitcoin that was sitting in your account. So then the system will not auto execute a sell order from us if you started trading that Bitcoin. But if you just sent the Bitcoin in and it's just sitting there in your account, or you just sent the Ethereum in and it's just sitting in your account, that's fine all day long. Okay. Hey, screen essay, go to the former URL. I don't know why that's not showing up. Go to clickrankandbank.com and you'll be able to use the same login there. Click Rank and Bank.
Okay. How long? Do you have a time on when the tier 2 will be available?
I don't. Yeah, I'm not really sure because I know that that's being programmed, and then we've got to do some testing. And testing shouldn't take long because we know that outside of the system it works perfectly well. So I'm not sure. I'm hoping, but I can't promise this. I'm hoping that by the time we enter a new buy-sell cycle, we're in a buy-sell cycle now. We're in a buy. We have to do the sell. All right. We don't know when that's going to happen. Okay. Then after the sell, after we're out of all the assets, we'll be looking for a new buy and sell cycle. So I'm hoping, can't promise, I'm hoping that by the next buy sell cycle that the auto trade system is ready to roll. I'm hoping.
Okay. Are you giving out the details on the monthly subscription for the auto trader?
I'm not, because I haven't heard Dan mention it yet, but I would imagine ask that question on either the Saturday call or the Monday call. I just don't want to overstep my bounds. I know what it is. I just don't want to overstep my bounds. I would imagine at the latest it should come out on Monday. I would imagine if all goes well. If all goes well, she may be launching as early as Monday night, maybe. All right. If they're still, I know they're still doing some integration and what have you. I've done my part. I'm just waiting to be able to start loading up content in the back office and for them to make sure that everything works and what have you. So I'm hoping that's ready by Monday night for the leadership call. If not, then hopefully sometime next week. Okay. Next question.
If someone has the tier 1 and tier 2 already, do they have, when the tier 1 launches, do they have to set up a new account?
We have addressed that with our beta test group, and you'll need to go into your back office, and I don't know, let me see where it is. Give me a moment. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to have to, I don't know how that's going to be migrated over or if that's something we have to do from our end. I'm not sure how you gain access, but I do know you will have access. And I'm just trying to think of, I got kicked out. Give me a moment. Just as a webinar. Give me a moment. No, that wouldn't be it. Webinar vault. Any other questions about? Okay, go in your back office under Webinar Vault and under June webinars. The very first video we did a very detailed explanation of that integration, and I'm talking to my beta test folks, my folks that have been with us, that were part of DiGi Millionaires well before we even knew what NetQube was. Okay, so go in your back office. You may have to go to Click Rank and Bank. For some reason, I just noticed the DiGi Millionaires login, that site wasn't working right. So go to Click Rank and Bank, use the same login details, Webinar Vault, June 2018, and you'll see that first video will answer the entire integration questions. Next question, Queen.
Okay, do I need to convert my BTC into USDT in order to start trading?
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Great question. Do I need to convert my BTC into USDT to start trading? Yes, you will. Now, what I would tell you to do is right now we're in BTC. So we're not sitting in USDT right now, okay? We've got a small portion of our assets because we don't have 100% in the market. We've got all of our assets are in the market. We're like 90+% invested or so in the market. So hold on to your BTC now because we've got a buy signal on it. And then once we issue a sell, then that's when you would want to sell your Bitcoin. So I wouldn't sell it now. I wouldn't sell it now. If you're holding on to Ethereum now, I wouldn't sell that. If you're holding on to Litecoin now, because we are in buys with all of those assets. I would wait, and I'm assuming that you're going to be following us into tier one. You're going to know when we are issuing a sell on any of these assets. All right, then you would go over to USDT. Okay.
Well,
Next
quick question. Wouldn't when you sell it, if they've already set up the auto trade, wouldn't it sell the BTC that's in an account? I'm just asking.
No. But in the auto trade, if a person is already in Bitcoin when they start the auto trade, then the system's going to read that they already had Bitcoin and that they had not participated in the initial buy that we did. So when we do the sell, all right, it's not going to sell an asset that the system did not buy for them. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
It does. It was just a question because I was like,
sure. Do we need to go over that again? Do you think that everybody got that? Everybody understood that?
Okay, well, basically, let me just reiterate my question. My question is, if you were to send Bitcoin over to your Binance account right now,
okay,
while we're already in the trade, what would happen when you get ready to sell it?
Okay, all right. So here's the deal. Let's say you've got Bitcoin in your Binance account right now, okay, but you were not in this last buy sell transaction. Okay, the system is not going to sell that Bitcoin for you because the system didn't buy it for you. So the system's only going to sell what it bought on your behalf through the auto trade system. So you've got Bitcoin. You are not in the buy. You're not in the auto trade system now. Okay, auto trade system comes. You would need to sell your own Bitcoin to turn it into USDT. We'll make sure you know how to do that if you don't. Okay, we'll make sure you know how to do that. All right. Then when the next buy happens, you're sitting in USDT, it takes your USDT and it buys Bitcoin and buys some Ethereum and buys some Litecoin. All right. Then you don't want to touch your account. You don't want to trade. When I say touch, you don't want to trade your account. All right. You don't want to buy stuff yourself, sell stuff for yourself. Don't, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay. Now, once we're out of trades, if you want to withdraw or what have you, feel free. All right. But you want the auto trade system to do what it does. Any of your own trading, and many of you will trade alongside us. You'll have the auto trade system and you'll say, hey, I want to trade alongside you as well. Why? Because there's going to be times, for instance, all right, that we're going to get into a trade in the auto trade system. In a moment. We're going to get into the trade in the auto trade system. We're going to buy Bitcoin at 66.2432. Then in their account that you're trading, Bitcoin's going to have a pullback and Bitcoin's at 65.43. You're going to say, hey, we're still in the buy signal. And I came to the Thursday night webinar and I didn't hear any inkling that we're about to get out. There was no sell signal yet. Or I watched the recorded webinar. That's why we do this kind of stuff. All right. So you understand that you're undertaking, you have confidence. And you're going to say, well, shoot, I'm going to buy me some more Bitcoin in my other account because I can get it cheaper. Nah, I got it cheaper. Okay, get it cheaper. Cool. Next question.
Okay. What type of balance do I need? Should we use to make enough profits to cover the monthly subscription?
Okay, well, let's stop there. Don't start off thinking I have to cover my monthly subscription with my profits. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. We're here, Queen, to make DiGi Millionaires. Okay?
Right.
Now, if you've got the resources where, we did a 30% return in about 35 days, and you got the resources to where, that would have made you a few hundred, a few $1,000s, great. But don't get into that trap. We're here to make DiGi Millionaires. So some of you might only be starting with a couple $100. And you're likely not going to cover your monthly subscription with a couple $100. That's one of the reasons why we wanted to put DiGi Millionaires on some network marketing company's shelf so that we can have a more robust compensation system so that we can help you make money from the referral side. All right. Let that be a way to cover your outlay, or let your going through our cash flow series of training and applying the cash flow series of training and clearing up an extra $200 to $500 a month with more than covers your monthly outlay. All right. But don't get into the thing of, I don't do that. All right. Let me tell you what I did, Queen, when I first started trading. I didn't have any money, Queen, for the first year to trade with. But the money that I did have, guess what I got? I got the tools, I got the resources, and I acted as if I had the money. And I watched CNBC 8 hours a day. I'm not telling you to do that. Okay, there's no reason for you to do that. I watched 8 hours a day. I started delivering pizzas at night so I could listen to my stock market audios while I was delivering pizza. Some of you still owe me a tip. Will you tip the pizza dude or the pizza dudette for me? Will you do that for me, please? Queen, I invested in tools for where I wanted to go. I wasn't there yet. And then when I started making a little money in trading, I went and got a $500 a month tool that would help me at the time. It would help me give me real-time quotes. They called it level 2 quotes for options. I wasn't making $500 a month yet, okay? But I knew where I wanted to go in my trading. So I don't know what your resources are. The minimum you needs to be at least a couple $100 minimum. Don't put any more into your trading account than what you're willing to lose. We're certainly not looking to lose it all, but don't ever put anything into any investment related to anything, whether it's in DiGi or Forex or mutual funds. that you're not willing to lose. But I do want us to change our outlook. I don't want us to look at, okay, I want to make enough in my trading to pay my monthly subscription, so I need to have 5,000 or 2,000 or what have you. Because I don't know. We might, look at this. I want you to see this. All right. When we got out of the market on February the 22nd, we got out of the market on February 22nd. We stayed out until April the 19th. There was very little trading going on for almost 2 months. Very little. And you might be saying, well, I didn't make any money. Well, you know what? You didn't lose any either. If you had stayed in the market, you'd have gotten creamed. You'd have lost 37.5% of your Bitcoin value. $1,000 account would have been like $625 right here. $10,000 account would have been $6,250. So we saved you, or we would have saved you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars. So let's have a different mindset. We're here to be DiGi Millionaires. It's going to be net like $100 a month. How much should you invest to pay your cell phone bill? Nobody asked that question. How much should I invest to pay my DirecTV bill so I can watch my Pittsburgh Steelers beat up on those Green Bay Packers? Nobody asked that question. And I pay more than $100 a month so that I can have my DirecTV, primarily so I can have my my NFL Sunday ticket to watch the Dallas Cowboys get slapped around and lose. Next question. Hopefully you understand. You get that. Next question.
Well, for those who are in, let's say, NetQube, and you don't have the funds to fund your account and pay the fees every month, don't they have the opportunity to sell the service and make
This is what I love about NetQube, okay? We wanted to put DiGi Millionaires somewhere that had a more robust compensation, because in our beta test, we had a 1-tier affiliate program, and that's just not conducive for somebody who's looking to actually generate a sizable revenue stream of just a few $100 to a few thousands of bucks per month by referring DiGi Millionaires. What I love about NetQube is let's say you're a cuber one. Let's say right now you just don't have it for tier 1. It's $119.95 a month. You're gonna get 2 cubes. That's gonna pay you back $20. Another $20 is gonna flow through the network, and then there's gonna be a bundle that's set aside for those Q bonuses that we talk a lot about in our Tuesday night webinars. You don't have it. Well, guess what? You're still going to be able to promote DiGi Millionaires, so that if someone gets DiGi Millionaires from you, they're just a customer, you get the cube bonuses. They get tier 1, you get 2 cubes. That's $20 a month. That also qualifies you for eventually when they have the cube requirements. So you could if you referred 5 other folks that got DiGi Millionaires, that would essentially pay for your subscription if and when you want to subscribe yourself. Or you may have some people that actually join you in NetQube. In which case now you get a recruit, and maybe they start to build cubes and things of that nature, and you start getting overrides or what have you. So don't be disheartened if you don't have the resources right now to get into DiGi Millionaires once it launches. We're going to do the Tuesday night webinars still the way that we've been doing them. And you can use that to promote the website that you're going to have. And some people went to it because it was shown on a leadership call a couple of weeks ago. And some people, Queen, I found out were already promoting that website. Don't promote the website yet because your links aren't active, okay?
Right.
All right, but we designed that site so if a person never came to a live webinar, if they never knew anything else, they could get as much content or as little content as they need to make a decision, make a prudent choice to get DiGi Millionaires, to join NetQube, or both. The other thing we did with that site, none of those videos are YouTube videos, so that we give Joe and Susie Average a shot. What tends to happen when Joe and Susie Average send someone to YouTube to watch the company's content or whoever's content, the product or the service content, that person you send to YouTube sees all the other related videos, and then they wind up clicking onto another video, maybe about the same offer, but there's somebody who's really skilled at presenting or training or what have you, and they wind up joining them instead of joining you. Queen,
Yes.
I declare, seems like every day that I open up my email box, congratulations, you got a new brand advocate, or you got somebody just joined your NetQube. Queen, I've not promoted NetQube in the past few weeks because I've been working on the integration. I've not sent out my personal referral link to any of my personal email list yet in a while, since our early foray into NetQube. I haven't even posted a new YouTube video in probably weeks. Maybe I think I posted one last week, but before that, I hadn't posted a new one in weeks. I've been working on content. So how is it that I keep getting people joining me? I hadn't paid for any marketing yet because somebody out there is telling someone they're getting excited about NetQube, or they're getting excited about DiGi Millionaires, and they're telling them, hey, go check it out. Go check out NetQube. And they might even be sending them a YouTube video. And then that person sees all the related videos. They click on my video, or they click on, some other leader's video. They see that video, they like that, and they join that person. I don't want to compete against you. That's good for me. That's good for people like Scott Nelson. Not good for you. I want to see you win. If you win, Scott Nelson will win. If you win, I'll win. I'll say Scott Nelson because I know he's big on YouTube. All right. I'll win if you win. Next question.
Time?
Time's up?
Yes.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I was sitting here eating some turkey pepperoni. I got hungry.
They have turkey pepperoni.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, it tastes like the real thing to me.
It does.
But, I
Okay.
mean, I mean, I haven't had pork in. Last time I ate any pork was, 11 years ago, I think.
Well, it's been longer than that for me, but that's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, good for you.
I just.
They got swine alone. It don't mean you're no good.
I was just you say turkey pepperoni. I'm like turkey pepperoni.
Oh yeah. That's I'm trying not to I'm trying not to eat a whole bunch of carbs and stuff like that. So this is not like a little,
okay. That's your snack. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
this is my little snack. Yeah, turkey pepperoni. Hey Queen, you want some more Conway Twitty? I know we're finished. You want some more?
No,
Conway
we're
Twitty?
finished for the night, and Emmy wants to go for a walk.
Oh, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we love each and every one of you. Have a phenomenal weekend. We will look to get this posted. Listen, I'm working on a lot of content, so tomorrow is like content day again. We will try to get this up tomorrow. If not, it may be probably Sunday. I don't do business on Saturdays. So we'll try to get it out sometime tomorrow afternoon. So be on the lookout email-wise. If we can't get it out, we'll let you know via email. Love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. Have a phenomenal weekend. And let's get you to DiGi, my gosh, millionaire status. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Queen.
everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.